So one of the key points of your statement this evening was Africa joining forces to win together.
Yeah.
And when you talk about South African tourism, how are you championing that?
Yeah, look, I mean, part of it is these type of trips. Part of my things I'll be doing here is I'll be meeting with the CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority. It's about sharing information. But I think the highlight of what we do is the Africa's Travel Indaba. It used to be just about South Africa, but it's now continental-wise. And all it is, the Indaba, is about the continent getting together, showcasing its capabilities and competencies in delivering world-class leisure tourism. We invite the world, who are the tour operators, the buyers, to come and experience the continent. And it's a very simple view that says, well, if the continent does well, we do well as South Africa.
Okay. If you look at Africa from outside, people think Africa is just one giant country sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
But when you come deep down, there are thick barriers dividing, separating the country.
Yeah.
But for tourism to flourish, it's about breaking those barriers. And that's a huge challenge in Africa. What are you doing as a CEO, and what are South African tourism doing to break these barriers?
Well, you are right that the world looks at Africa as a country. And how many times have you been asked if you know John from Kenya, as an example, by a typical international person? Look, it's to me is you've got to use the narrative to your advantage. If the world looks at Africa as a country, use it to your advantage. To the extent that before any one of us in our 54 countries wins, you've got to convince people to come to the continent. And I think that now becomes, how do we sell Africa? How do we collaborate? How do we combine? I mean, as I said earlier on, only 5% of the world's market share in terms of tourism. There's so much we can do on that side. But we can only do it if we actually collaborate and combine. And we do it in different ways. We don't need to have 54 countries that look the same. We want 54 different experiences, different languages, different cultures, different food, different everything. And I think that's where part of the magic lies. The difficulty is getting it off the ground, because as a continent, we're at different levels of advancement. Some are more advanced than others. How do we make sure that we all play ball at the same time? And the truth is as well, some countries on the continent just don't prioritize tourism. You know, they are more interested in agriculture or other areas. And that's okay, but we just need to combine, hold hands with those that see tourism as a driver at the moment.
You've been to the country, you've met your local partners, people you've worked with. In terms of concrete steps being taken and probably targets, and we're hoping to see that, okay, A and B and C have been achieved. What are timelines have you set for yourself?
Look, it's about listening as well. So I'm simply not here to dictate, here's the following that's going to happen. What we've certainly done as a country, we've given ourselves a 5-year target of the type of growth we want to achieve. And we've broken this down all the way down to the region. So within our targets, there is a Ghana target. Now, my job essentially is to make sure that I create a conducive environment that allows these targets to be met. I've got to remove as much barriers as I can in order for these targets to be met. Things like visas, as an example. Traveling with children in South Africa is very difficult. So we've got to remove all these barriers. Airline connectivity, as an example. Can I get an airline any day into Johannesburg or Cape Town directly? So this becomes important. Affordability becomes important as well. So I've got to look at all of these things and make sure that we do the best in order to remove them. But I have to listen. I have to listen to our trade partners. I have to listen to what they are telling us so that we can deliver the best for them.
This is our former president, John Mahama, did announce that now if you are from South Africa or from any African country, you can just arrive here and you get visa on arrival. And you did mention that behind the scenes, a lot is being done in South Africa. This is just between the two of us. Don't tell anybody. What can you tell me is happening right now as we speak? Will I be able to comfortably get up and travel to South Africa and get visa on arrival?
Sure. I can tell you that when I started this job, I used to have an afro. Now I've got no hair. And I've been losing a lot of hair around them, right? So you've got on one hand, the president says we've got to double tourism. But on the other hand, it's almost like someone is tying your hands around that side. So getting government to work together is important. The trick, however, is to do it responsibly, and appropriately as well. because we do want to safeguard the country against foreign elements that we want in. But it can't be done at the cost of those that are doing well as well. So it's that balance. So there's a whole regime review around our visa regimes, which countries should we have visas, but automation, that's important. I envy those countries, by the way, that actually have visa on arrivals. My word, in my dreams I dream about such. But I've got principles that I look up to, and believe me, they know where I stand with that. So there'll be something soon.
Okay, since you're a tourism man, and before you go, have you taken time to enjoy Ghana? Where have you been to? Have you eaten our food? What's your favorite food so far since you came in?
The whole point of me arriving early was supposed to relax, get to know the place and everything else, but these guys have just been beating me every single day. They have promised me that on Saturday I got a free day, and I'm going to be going around meeting the place. I'll be wearing shorts on that day and relaxing. I'll be eating the local food, I'll be drinking, meeting people and everything else. So maybe call me on Saturday evening and I'll let you know exactly what's my favorite dish.
Have you tasted jollof? Have you tasted jollof before?
I have tasted jollof before.
Where in Nigeria?
Yeah, yeah. I know there's a big contest about whose jollof rice is better.
Thank God.
And you know me, I
just eat Ghana jollof. When you go to Nigeria, don't eat Nigerian jollof.
Just a quick one. You did mention that for the first half of this year, you've noticed an increase in the arrivals from Ghana. What do you think accounted for that?
Well, a couple of things. I think the marketing investment that the team has made here is definitely paying off, and it's smart investment. It's also about understanding your market. The traditional way of marketing has been putting up a billboard that says, "Come to South Africa," whatever it is. But in today's world, the influence, and I'm a bit too old to understand what it actually means. So I have to trust the team, and they say to me, just manage us on the results, right? Allow us to do what we need to do. And that's essentially what they've done, So I call them investment. We invest a lot of resources to get targeted people who represents the target audience we're looking for and make them experience South Africa so they can talk firsthand. And, in the world we live in, someone with 1 million followers jumps off the bridge. Everyone wants to jump off the bridge. And you've got lots of bridges to jump off. So, that's also paying a lot of dividends for us. And again, it's about the excellent work that the team has done, but also the trade. It's our travel agencies that every day choose to prioritize South Africa over other destinations. They can sell Bali, they can sell Mauritius, they can sell any other destination, but they choose to sell South Africa. That I have to say thank you for, and I think those dividends are paying off.
Finally, and forgive me, per your estimations, how much, in terms of figures, if African Joy Forces, how much do you think we are making now? And how much do we hope to make if we come together and decide to push tourism globally together?
So the mistake that South Africa made, which I'd like to share with everyone on the continent, we prioritize international traveling to South Africa. We neglected the domestic market. And now we're changing the thing around. It says, let's prioritize domestic. I want South Africans to know South Africa. So I want South Africans to travel their country first. Then the next layer becomes the continent. Continentally, I want the continent to know each other. Then we look at international. Because once we get that cascade in view out, we all become tourism ambassadors. Imagine now not knowing your country, never have traveled it before, and a tourist asks you for directions. Oh, where can I go for dinner? Where can I go X, Y, and Z? You actually have no clue, So therefore, we were looking for inside out, and like in anything in life, it's never absolute, not either or. We still want the international, but we're growing the domestic quite aggressively, and the continent itself. The more Africans that can discover each other's continents, the better it can be. And I know we've got a long way to go because it's not just a marketing campaign, but you've got to back it up with a couple of things. You've got to back it up with the right price. At the moment, we're all pricing for euros and dollars and pounds. You've got to get the right price point. You're going to get the right product as well. Us having westernized products and force feeding it on African market is a mistake. So we've got to get the right product as well, right? The right experiences there, and then ultimately is how we package it. Airline connectivity becomes an issue. The most frustrating thing is moving from one African country to the other, but having to go to Europe first to do that. So we do want the airlines to crisscross across the continent, so that the cost can come down as well and deliver a fantastic product.